Well, hello and welcome back. We are continuing our Spring Boot tutorial as we're converting an older application into a newer Spring Boot, trying to get to use some of these modern tools. And last time around, we customized our login screen. One of the things we did, though, is we had stuff not showing up. So we had, let's see if I get rid of this. We had a home page that did not look good because we weren't getting things like CSS and those kinds of good things. So, oops, let's go here. So if I go to my home page, two things that we had that were an issue. One is that it takes me here to my login page as opposed to an actual home page. And as you can see here, there's like a whole lot of missing CSS, JavaScript, all that kind of good stuff. So this episode, we're going to focus on unsecuring things. Now, the security comes right here with the authorized HTTP requests, and any request needs to be authenticated. And so what we need to do with that is we're going to actually build a bunch of matchers. And for those things that match those, we're going to do a permit all. We're going to say anything that matches that, we're going to let it go through and not force a login. And this is something that if you're doing some searches out there, there are a couple different ways to do this stuff. There's an older way and a modern way. And depending on how you've got your application set up, it's going to look for ANT, A-N-T matchers or request matchers. ANT's sort of like it's a different setup. That's not what we need. That's usually what you're going to see. The nice thing is it's pretty easy to just replace ANT with request. And usually what you're going to see is a series of strings. Instead, you're going to want an MVC request matcher just to make sure that, because this is an MVC application we're building, we're doing a web app. And so we're going to want to make sure we build those out. Now, I've built all of these out, but I want to sort of walk through these first. So the first thing I wanted to do is, let me do this. I'll pull a couple of these out. The first thing I want to look at is say, hey, this thing's always going to the login. It does not take me to my home page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow slash and /home. And do I have a /home? I think I have a /home. Oh, I don't. That was a leftover. It used to be /home, but there you go. So I have a /home. Even though it's not there, I'm going to allow both of those. So actually for this, let's just go ahead and pull that. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Let me see how I want to do this. Let me do it this way. Sorry. I'm going to pull that. And, whoops. I want everything except MVC. So I'm just going to add this time around. All I'm doing is saying, hey, / is unsecured. And so if I do that, now notice this is my login page. And we're going to see something a little different. Hopefully it's easy. Yeah, so now you can see this a little different. And this is now /. Now I can still log in because I have a login form here. So if I log in, now it takes me to my dashboard, just like it normally did. And now I could also go to, if I want to go back to /, I can do that. And now, here's the magic. Notice because I'm logged in, this thing actually looks decent because it's pulling all of that key stuff in. And what is that key stuff? It's things like JavaScript and cascading style sheets, CSS and images and Bootstrap and all kinds of goodness. So we want this to look this way, even if, like here, I log out. Now log out, notice it took me back to login. So if I go to my home, I can do that. But again, that's not, the home page looks horrible because it's not letting those things in. So let's start working on that piece. Let me do this. I don't need the home at all. Now the first thing, one of the first things I want to do is I'm going to allow, let's do this. If we look at what we had here, we do have a couple of basic pieces. So we are getting the header. If we look, because that was where our menu items were. So the header's coming in, so I didn't really need that. But what we do need is we want to bring in anything that is an IMG. We want to bring in our Bootstrap stuff. We want to bring in our CSS and our JS. The way we do this is we're going to do a permit all. And so what we want to do here with each of these is we're going to create a request matcher, and all we do is we're just going to say, hey, give it a string. It's also looking for another control that we don't really have to worry about because we can just leave it null. So the easy way is let's just leave it null. And note the pattern here. What we want to do is a star star. So that's just going to be like anything, whether it's an actual, just a file name or a file name with an extension or whatever it is. So you just want to catch, in this case, like give me everything, including subdirectories, whatever. I want everything that matches this name. So anything that's going to have this is going to get picked up. And if I add those, what I end up with here is now when I come to my home page, now I'm seeing most of what I've got. But now look, if you look, we're still missing something because if I log in, if I go ahead and log into this and then come back to that page, I'm going to see something a little bit different. And it's because right there. So this thing, this banner that is picking stuff up from core.css probably is where we're going to see it. So what we want to do, if you note, well, shoot, let me go back to that. Where was that banner? It's hard to see here probably, but it's core.css, although it is loading it, we're not getting like an error or anything like that. We're not reading it when it's not here. So here, that's one of the pieces we missed, is right here on our banner. It's coming from core. So most likely that's where we're going to, let me see, where the banner. And you should be able to see here, where did it go? I can't find my color, but normally what you're going to see is you're going to see where the color, because it's not picking up because it's not in core.css, it's not being shown. So we can see here that's like, oh, okay, well, let's go ahead and pick, let's make this 3, and let's just call it, let's see if we get core.css, and we're going to add 3 here. And this is how we can do it. We can just stack up. Whoop, we can just stack. Whoop, darn it. There. We can just stack these things up all day and permit stuff. And so we could also come in and we could also start securing specific things, which may be the easier route. It depends on how you look at stuff. Let's see. I've got an error here somewhere. It said. I'm not sure why. I think it just doesn't like it in general. Okay. Oh, yeah, because it's just, that's some of the formatting issues. So we'll allow that to go. And we're going to come over here, and we're going to run it. And now let's see if we can get our core.css. And now we've got it. So we are here. We're not logged in. Actually, let's go here, because I was on the login page. Here we go. So now, here's my home page. If we take a look at it, and let's do this. Let's take this same page. So we do a little side-by-side compare. Is if we take that, and then we do, let's just do this. Let's just create one real quick. And if we look at this one, let's just go here. So if we look at it like this, and then we look at it after we've logged in, and then we come back to that page, what we should see is basically identical. So if we move this to there, move this to there, now granted it's a little bit different in our width. Let me match the width for us. And if I do a match width, then we'll see that, look, things are starting to fall out. They look exactly the same. We do still have our footer, which is always like one of those key things we want to have. So now we have managed to unsecure some of our key pieces of our application. Note that, again, if I try to go to dashboard, well, I can go here. Notice here I'm at home, but if I try to go to my dashboard and I'm not logged in, then it kicks me back to the login page. Not the home page, the login page. So these are slightly different, as we've noted. Here, you can see this is the login page, and it looks a little bit the same, but I've changed it just enough so now we can say, hey, this is my home page. And notice I still don't have my carousel working, but we'll work on that later. So if I go to dashboard, whoop, or anything that's wrong, basically, it's going to say whatever I sent. So I can go to blah, blah, blah. It's going to say, I don't know what that is. So the first thing you need to do is you need to log in. So if I log in, then it's going to say, all right, I've taken you there. So now I'm logged into my dashboard. Now I can look at dashboard, or I could go to that ops that was actually set up, and I can see that, hey, I've got things set up. And then I can log back out, and it kicks me back to my login, and I have my nice little message. Now, I do want to swing back around the login page itself. There's not a whole lot to it. Let's see where we go here. So there's not a whole lot we need to do with our login form, but we do need to make sure that we've got some things there that actually are properly, named. So we do need our username and password need to be entered that way. And other than that, we're going to we've got a form. It's going to use this. We're going to use that time leaf. The action is @/login. If you wanted to do a logout, you will see wherever I put the menu. Is that here? I think that's on the other. It's in the header. I think I switched that to @logout. It's going to be a logout. And now it's because I just switched it over to a submit button there. So it's going to go in and flat. So this is how you connect these pieces out fairly easily. Is you can just go straight in, and it's just going to say, hey, I'm going to post to. And it's like I said, it's sort of 101 type stuff. But just want to let you know that these are, again, we're using our time leaf. We're using a couple of our key things, which is basically our action for our password, for our login. It's going to log in. It does go to web security config, and this is where we're going to try to make sure that we get our username comes in. So we want, username is going to be username, password is going to be password, and it's going to send those things in accordingly. And once we've got those, it's going to validate us and give us some sort of a security role. Now or security access. Now there are things that are out there that we haven't talked about yet. We'll probably get to at some point where you have like different roles. So you can have an admin role, and they're only going to see things. And this again goes back to our security. So you can do it where instead of permit all, it's only going to permit certain users. Like maybe only admin gets to see it. So we would maybe say that, hey, everybody gets to see it, which we need for these. But for some of the other stuff, there may be like certain pages that we only want admin to see. And otherwise, in those kind of cases, we're probably going to have some sort of login or some sort of an error page they're going to redirect to. I think that's good enough for now to get us like our basics. So what we have now is we can build a page that's a login. We can have a home page, which is our / and we can free up key stuff that we need to free up, basically, so that we can get all of our like our resources and such. Get those things included in, and let's see, I think I've got everything there. Do I have a home banner? Well, I'm going to take a look at those. I'll go flip back through those. I think I've got everything now that needs to be unsecure, so that we can plow on with some of our other pages and start building out the application and just start cranking through this thing. If you have any questions, shoot an email to info@developandor.com. We're going to keep chugging along here, add some new things, a little bit of conversions here and there. Some of it's going to be very straightforward and simple because it's the nice stuff about building a good Java application and doing an MVC model and how you can very quickly make some changes. Like this, we're, in a sense, replatforming the whole thing. But it's not taking us a whole lot of work. That being said, go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time.
Hello, this is Rob with Developandor, also known as Building Better Developers. Wanted to announce that we have school.developandor.com. Feel free to check it out if you like any of this information, any of the content that we've sent, and you would like to see more. You can come out, you can enroll for free. We have free courses. We've got places for you to get better at just learning a technology, our how-tos. You can work on your business skills. We can help you with becoming a better developer, as in coding and things like that. A lot of the stuff you've seen on YouTube, we also have out at school.developandor. We just have it in a little more of a educational format and a way for you to track your progress as you move forward becoming a better developer.